Hello, my fine and lovely friends. Sarah here again with some more tips to help transform your life. And today I want to talk a little bit about neuroscience. And I've talked a lot about changing the patterns and the ways of thinking and not being attached to our mind. And this is all part of neuroscience and how to reprogram our brain. And Dr. Joe Dispenza has got a lot of information on this, and I was lucky enough to attend two of his courses and spend a week with him going into deep meditations. It was 7 days of just basically meditating all day and all night. And some we got up at 3 a.m. and meditated for 5 hours. And they were a challenge sometimes, but it was all part of reprogramming our mind. So we have neuropathways, which are basically electric currents like running through our brains, right? And they're kind of on autopilot. And if we're not aware of those trains of thought, they're just automatically, we're thinking automatically. We're programmed from that very young age, from 0 to 7. And most of us go around believing, we're even told really that, who you are is who you are, and you're born with this personality, and, you just got these traits and they're passed on, some of them from your ancestors, and it's who you are and you're never going to change. And I hear people say that all the time about other people. They'll never change, a leopard never changes its spot, and that can be true. It can be very true. But however, if a person's intention is to change and they're willing to do some deep inner work and look at their shadows, deal with their traumas, do lots of healing, they can shift and transform their lives. And part of doing this is reprogramming the mind. And so it's really about changing your thoughts. So you have a thought, and you be the observer of your thoughts. So Dr. Bruce Lipton has a lot of work around this, about the observer effect and what happens. He did some scientific studies that showed that once you become the observer, things actually change just automatically. And his science proved that. So when you become the observer of your own life, you can then reprogram the thoughts that you're having, and you're not just working on autopilot from the subconscious mind. We want to be aware of what's going on in the subconscious. When we become aware, we are able to transform our lives, and we can think a better thought. And it takes practice, like anything, like going to the gym and lifting weights and building muscles, doing a yoga practice. We did it when we learned to walk. We fell over 1,000 times and got back up and had another go, fell down, got back up, until we learn how to do these things automatically. And that's how we were programmed in the first place. So to reprogram ourselves, we just have to have that raised awareness, that consciousness, and have the observer effect. Just observe it without judging. There I am. I've had it just this morning. Scarcity mindset, worrying about the future, worrying about money, having fear around that. All that stuff has been passed down to me generationally, ancestrally. We're actually even taught it in society. You've got to hang on to that job. You can't take a risk. You can't do anything different than have that 9 to 5 job and have that paycheck going in. And so it comes up every now and again. I think I've beaten it. I'm congratulating myself on I'm not feeling that fear, and then bam, something happens and it kicks straight back to default. Happened to me, like I say, today. I was walking on the beach and I was thinking, wow, if I had been where I am right now a year ago, I would have been probably freaking out. Wow, I can see how much I've grown. Oh, wow, that's really cool. Then I read something on the internet about something possibly could happen. People just fear-mongering again out there on social media, and even in the media, actually. This was in the Herald, which is a New Zealand newspaper saying our town where I live is going to be cut off and they're not going to let people in. Well, it just tipped me over the edge. I have an Airbnb I'm just starting to get going. I've got family coming for Christmas. I've got business things that I'm trying to get going. And if they stop people coming into the area, there's my source of income. And whoa, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. It just welled up automatically, took over. I was near on tears. And right at that moment, an angel friend rang me up and said, "How are you going?" And I said, "Oh, I'm just about to have a breakdown." Told her what was happening. We talked about it. I did something proactive. I wrote a letter, an email off, and then I've gone back and I've seen lots and lots of people putting negative comments on this thing. Who are they speaking for? They say it's our town. They're not speaking on behalf of me. So, I'm over it now. But that was the fear mentality coming back up just when I thought I'd broken free. So then I had to go back and go, okay, well, I had that little meltdown. Now I'm just going to go back to trusting it's all going to be okay. I am on this path for a reason. I don't believe that we are given the experiences, that we are put into situations, especially when we want to be of service to other people, that if we're not meant to do it, sometimes it's testing you, how much resolve you've got, how much you're committed to doing what you want to do. When we push through those things and we have the opportunity to rewire our brain, and because what we're thinking about, what we're putting out there is what we're drawing to us. Everything in our outside field is a reflection of the macrocosm reflecting the microcosm. So that inner work we do in here gets reflected out here. So the old me, a year ago, more than a year ago, probably 2 years ago now, would have just spent, I wouldn't even be coping. I would never even have put myself in this situation, which is why it took me a long time to do it. And it does, to trust and that it will all work out however it's meant to. And I just have to keep putting one foot in front of the other and trust and believe. And when those when those thoughts come up, have the observer approach and rewire that thinking. It's all going on constantly. So that's how neuroplasticity works in the brain. It's just thinking a better thought. And Dr. Joe Dispenza has an amazing piece of footage that you can easily find on the internet, where he shows someone having a new thought and it actually wiring together with another neuron in the brain, and it lights up and it shoots out, and it's a new thought, and it's absolutely amazing and fascinating to see the actual physicality of what your thoughts are doing in your brain. So, we can change. We should be changing all the time and evolving and observing our own behavior, coaching ourselves, being kind, giving, loving ourselves. When we need that reassurance, that little child is still inside of us, and often it can take over our whole personality. And so if we can love ourselves, guide ourselves, and seek our knowledge from within instead of expecting everything from outside of ourselves to be making it okay for us, because I think that's what a lot of is going on in the world at the moment, is that we're expecting somebody else to save us, and we've got to save ourselves, do our own inner work, trust in ourselves and a higher power, and be learning and growing and evolving into the new earth and coming together with other like-minded people. And the creativity that I see happening right now is amazing. What's going on, communities coming together, thinking in different ways, connecting with people that they never would have connected with before, that they found really think in similar ways to them, and people being more open to learning. There's still people a little shut off, but I'm meeting people that are open to learning all the time, and that's just amazing. And also doing really good things for themselves, especially women starting to realize that if they don't put themselves first, they're no good to anybody else. So that is my message for today, and I shall be back real soon. Much love. Namaste.